Good morning, everybody. This is a Devar Torah brought to you from TorahAnyTime.com, broadcasted from Magen David Shul in Los Angeles. This week's parasha, we have a double parasha called Behar and Bechukotai. We're going to focus today on the beginning of Parashat Behar, which talks and discusses about the mitzvah of Shemitah. Shemitah is a very interesting mitzvah. The Torah commands the land of Israel to be not to work the land. It's called a sabbatical year for one whole year. Every 7 years, the cycle of the Shemitah year, the land has to be, you cannot work it, you cannot prune it, you cannot cut it. You have to leave it to rest for 1 year. Just like we have a Shabbat once a week, every 7 days, the Torah commands every Jew not to work on the Shabbat. So too, once in every 7 years, the Torah commands that the land should be rested, and you cannot work the land. So the question is, what's the purpose of this law for? Why does the Torah and God the Almighty say this? The answer is to give us a lesson in emunah, in belief. You know, there's a mystery of the world is, a person works hard, and he comes home at the end of the week, and he's clever, and he did a good job, and he gets a paycheck. So he thinks that, who got him this paycheck? It's me, it's my hard work, it's my intellectual thoughts, it's my brains, it's my IQ. I'm the one, I'm clever, I'm smart, I worked hard, I got this money myself. And the Torah tells us, excuse me, once a week you don't go to work, Shabbat. And you realize that, no, Shabbat, it gives you a bracha for the whole week. You keep Shabbat and you get bracha the whole week. Because the money in the paycheck, you think you're getting it. It's all a ruse, but it comes from me, from God. The same thing is in the land of Israel. A farmer works hard for 6 years, and he gets his crop, is ready to sell it, he's making a lot of money. Torah says, wanting to do something unnatural. For 1 whole year, 7th year, no working, no going to the land, nothing whatsoever. So this is very hard for every farmer. Because if a person doesn't work the land on the 7th year, you know, that means on the 7th year when you don't work the land, on the 8th year you're going to have no crop, you're going to have nothing. So you're losing out 7th year and 8th year. Also 6th year, because what are you going to do in the 6th year? Because nothing's going to be working in the 7th year for the land. The fruits and the vegetables are not going to come out beautiful and nice. Nobody's going to buy your crop. The Torah says, don't worry. The Pasuk says, every man can ask, if I'm not going to work the land, what am I going to eat on the 7th year? Where am I going to get my paycheck from? Says the Torah, I promise you, don't worry. I will give you a blessing. I guarantee you that you're going to have enough food and enough crop to feed your family and enough parnasa, enough livelihood. Bashana shishit, on the 6th year, that will last you for the 7th year and the 8th year too. So you're going to have a bounty crop for 3 years. Hachamim here ask a question, our sages ask. The Torah could have just said, and I will give you my blessing that you're going to have enough crop on the 6th year to last you for the next 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th year. Why does the Torah have to give an introduction with this? Saying, what happens if the guy asks, Ma nochal b'shana shevi'it? What am I going to ask on the 7th? What am I going to eat on the 7th year? Only after a person asks that question does the Torah say, don't worry, I'll take care of you. We're going to give you a bounty crop on the 6th year. It's going to have enough for 3 years. The Torah could have said that without the person asking, what am I going to eat? Ma nochal b'shana shevi'it. What do you need that introduction for? And our sages answer and tell us the 2 types of levels of emunah that a person has. 2 types of levels of belief in God. The first level is a very difficult one. It's on a very high standard. A person doesn't need to ask, what am I going to eat on the 7th year? And he'll get the bracha. He'll get enough food on the 7th year. It might look to him that he's not getting any more. He's going to get the same food, the same amount. But that's going to last him for 3 years. The little bit that he has on that 7th year is going to have such a bracha that small quantity will be enough for him for all 3 years, for the 6th year, 7th year, and 8th year. But the person who doesn't have such emunah, he needs to see the paycheck the beginning of the year. He needs to see that already on the 6th year, I'm going to have enough. The Torah says, no problem. I'll take care of you too. I'm going to give you on the 6th year such a bounty crop that you're going to have a triple crop. It's going to be enough for you for the 6th year, 7th year. You're already going to see in the beginning of the 6th year, in the end of the 6th year, you're going to have so much that you're going to have enough for 3 years. It's like a person, let's say he makes $100,000 a year. So the one who doesn't ask any questions, who believes in God straight, and he knows God commands me to keep the sabbatical year, not to work on it, he's going to have the same salary on the 6th year. He's going to get that 100,000. But that 100,000 miraculously is going to be more than enough for him for 3 years, 6th year, 7th year, and 8th year. But the guy who doesn't have that belief, doesn't have the emunah, and on the 6th year he asks God, what am I going to eat next year? What's going to be? God says, no, I'll take care of you a different way. God's going to give him in the end of the 6th year $300,000 in his bank account. He's going to have enough 6th, 7th, and 8th year. He's going to see it there. It's all the level of emunah a person has to have in God. But we have to remember, what is this purpose? What is this mitzvah for, this sabbatical year? That we should all realize that it's not us that come home with a paycheck. God is giving us the power and the koach to work and to give us a salary and to live our lives. All comes from God. It reminds me of a story. A person went to a certain river and he sees a man over there enjoying his life, fishing and enjoying himself. He catches the fish a day, has what to eat. He bakes it, he grills it, he puts it in the barbecue and has a beautiful life. One day somebody comes up to him, a big hacham, big clever person, and says to him, tell me, I don't understand, why don't you take a very big net and catch a lot of fish? What are you only catching 1 or 2 fish for? So the guy looks at him and says to this wise guy, and what do I do after I catch all that fish? He goes, what do you mean? After you catch all that fish, you sell it and you make money. And the guy says, okay, what do I do after that? He says, well, you buy yourself, you have enough money, you buy yourself a small boat and you go inside the sea and you can catch much more fish and you make much more money. Because what do I do after that? Oh wow, then you start buying real estate and you start buying land and then you're going to be very rich. And the fisherman looks up to the wise guy and says, and what do I do after that? Well, after that, you've had enough money, you can sit down and you can enjoy your life and you can enjoy what you have. So the fisherman looks up to the chacham and says, what do I need to go through all that bother and trouble for if I'm already doing that now? I'm enjoying what I have now. I'm enjoying my life now. I don't understand your program here. Ladies and gentlemen, many people in life, they worry about when their kids are already 2-3 years old, what's going to be with my kids in college? There are people I know who have sleepless nights about, do we have enough money for our kids to go to university and get a good education? That is not a level of emunah that a Jew is on. The Torah tells us we have to realize, of course you have to have a good education. Of course you have to work hard to bring yourself a livelihood. But in the end of the day, don't you realize that there is a God watching you? That God is giving you the money. It's not yourself. It's not your own koach, your own power. This is the fundamental belief in Judaism. And we have to have this emunah. God is telling the people in Israel, 7th year, don't even work. Don't go to work and you'll see. And God gives His own promise. V'tziviti et berachati. And whoever kept the Shemitah can tell you, they've never had a problem. They've never had a lack of funds in their account. In the beginning, it's hard for them to keep Shabbat. They say on the 7th day, how can I not go to work? It looks like when I go to work on the Saturday, on the Shabbat, I'm making much more money. But ask people who have stopped working on the Shabbat. You know what they tell you? They realize that not only do they not lack with any money, they've realized they have even more money for not working on the Shabbat. Because the money that we earn working on the Shabbat, we just think we're making money. But that money goes, our sages tell us, God forbid, on doctor's bills, on mechanic bills, on dentist bills, on bills and bills and bills. Because there is no beracha, there is no blessing on the money we make from a Shabbat or money that we make from a Shemitah year, a sabbatical year. Because then we think that we're making the money. We have to realize that it's all a ruse. It looks like we're making it. It looks like we're doing it. But it's really God holding our hands and giving us the parnasah and paying our check at the end of the week. This is a very important fundamental belief in Judaism. Hachamim tell us, our sages say, that you need to say every day this psalm of Ashrei Yoshua Betecha. Why? 3 times a day. And if you say it because you're ben olam haba, you have the world to come. Why? Because there's a pasuk inside that says, Poteach et yadecha mazbeh lechol chai ratzon. We lift up our hands and say that God, you sustain every creature in this world. We have to realize God is not only the macro God that created the world, but God is the Almighty who's in our lives. Even the little things in our lives, He rules them. He runs them. And that's called Hashgacha Pratit. Have a great week, everybody.